Well, if you were lucky, you learned to read and write. There were few books in the village, and they got passed around from one to another. Usually any attempt at education was finished by a lad or a lassie was old, 10 or 12 years old. He would learn the fishing from his da, and their prayers from their mother. I can hear her now. A prayer for lifting the fire in the morning. I will kindle my fire this morning in the presence of the holy angels of heaven, in the presence of Ariel of the loveliest form, in the presence of Uriel of the myriad charms, without malice, without jealousy, without envy, without fear, without terror of anyone under the sun, with the Holy Son of God to shield me. God, kindle thou this hearth again. You could smell the peat fire burning and the salt in the air. The smell of the sea was the odor of tides, dying and decomposing to feed new things. That's what the sea is all about. And the land too, in its own way. Oh, you could throw a stone from one end of the village to the other. Small it was, but it held the world there in its black streets and whitewashed cottages. The church was at one end and the pub at the other. You'd see old Keane pottering home on Saturday night, yet he'd be there in the front row with his wife and son come Sunday morning. A good and solid man he was. Oh, then there was the priest, transplanted from America, always at his prayers and someone else's business. He'd even carry old Keane home some nights from the pub and say not a word about it come Sunday. Keane's drinking and church-going increased after the loss of his eldest son at sea one spring. I'm not sure whether the drinking or the church-going was of more comfort to him. He would have no comfort from his wife. Oh, no. She was a good woman, but they seemed to be at odds most of the time, mostly over their youngest son. He was good with the nets, mending and fixing them, but his heart wasn't in it. Oh, he loved the stories and the books that came his way, and his writing. In a way, the stories had kept him from the sea when all the other lads had been going to sea for several years. You know, he was a lot like you.
Really?
Well, he looked like you anyway.
Do you like fishing, Grandfather?
No, I don't. Fish belong in the sea where God created them. If he intended us to go to sea, he would have given us fins like the fish.
Aye, and he would have given us wings if he'd wanted us to fly. Where will you go?
Why will he send me?
It's not my doing. 'Tis the season. The spring bait must be caught, else we get no bottom fish this summer.
For the love of St. Michael, I'm almost 18. Can't you see? Look at these hands. They aren't fishing hands. I'm not cut out to be a fisherman.
You've worked enough with the nets. Everyone says you're the best mender there is. But there's more to being grown than fixing nets.
Fish! That's all I hear from you. For the past 4 years, you've been trying to get me out there with the rest of the lads. I found my place. Leave me be.
I can't. You're all that I have left.
So, you want to get me to the sea too, now do you?
'Twas God's will that took your brother. Let him be in peace.
Then let me be.